What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags, back with another NFL Showdown breakdown, courtesy of Awesemo.com. This week, we get the first decent game we've had since I've started doing these videos, a pretty good real-life game between the Panthers and the Steelers. Vegas projects Pittsburgh as a 4-point favorite, with the Panthers coming in at an implied 23.8 total versus the Steelers getting an implied 27.8 total at home. Cam Newton and the Panthers offense has been rolling the last few weeks. It's going to be a lot tougher matchup versus the Steelers team, who, again, been pretty stout defensively, but especially at home. It might be a tough one for Christian McCaffrey. The Steelers have been defending pass-catching running backs as well as anybody in the league, giving up a 34.1% decrease in production from pass-catching RBs, according to Football Outsiders DVOA. So again, even if McCaffrey has a good day, it's going to be tougher than him than it usually might be versus the Steelers team who's going to swarm to the ball and make it hard for him to get wide open lanes like he usually does, especially in a matchup like last week versus the Bucs. The Steelers, however, are much weaker versus tight end. They're giving up a 23.2% boost, according to Football Outsiders, so that should benefit Greg Olsen, a guy who's really been integrated in the offense in a meaningful way and has been a favorite target of Cam Newton over the years. Devin Funchess and DJ Moore will be needed more this week than they were versus the Bucs. Torrey Smith hasn't practiced yet as of me filming this video, so it looks like he's going to be out. Moore should continue to see snaps, and after disappointing a lot of people, I do think there is some value in going back his way. There isn't a shot that Curtis Samuels puts up 2 touchdowns again as he did versus the Bucs. And again, the Steelers are a better team, so you're going to want the better players here getting the most action. Olsen is probably my favorite pass-catching target, but I do think some exposure to Funchess and Moore would be a very smart idea here. James Conner is the most expensive play on the slate. Given how his workload has been, I think that's completely justified here. And I find him to be pretty hard to fade, same as Ezekiel Elliott was in our last showdown slate. Conner has 4 straight games with 19 carries and 4 catches. So that's a lot of guaranteed touches in any sort of game. We saw versus the Ravens last week, it doesn't matter what the matchup is on the other side, Conner is going to get his. And I do think it's hard to look the other way for him. Carolina's also very bad at red zone defense. They're giving up touchdowns on 80% of opponents' red zone drives. That means that Conner, a guy who's getting a lot of red zone looks, is probably very much in play here, regardless of whether he gets a ton of yards. He is a guy who can slam it in from close, and that is where you'll want to be with his Panthers defense. The passing offense going off would be the only reason I think Conner wouldn't hit value. Ben Roethlisberger is a much better player at home, and that is a spot where maybe you could fade Conner if the passing game just exceeds all expectations and they don't even need Conner to get into the red zone and punch it in. Panthers have defended wide receiver ones well. They've had actually a 30.1% decline on productivity from wide receiver ones, again, according to Football Outsiders DVOA. To me, that does make me worry a little bit about Antonio Brown, but, you know, he's Antonio Brown. He's matchup-proof as anybody in the NFL can be. And obviously, his rapport with Ben can be an asset here if Ben has a big passing day, as he tends to do in home games for Pittsburgh. Juju Smith-Schuster remains highly targeted, and he's a guy who I think would be a great pivot to Brown if we're buying into the Football Outsiders metrics. Juju's an explosive player, and it wouldn't be surprising at all to see him put up big yardage here, especially against a Panthers D who's giving up 9.1 air yards per target. So that means that quarterbacks are able to throw the ball downfield, and Juju is the guy who gets downfield. Vance McDonald and Jesse James tend to split the duties as pass catchers at tight end. Both those guys could be in a pretty good spot versus the Panthers defense who's not great versus the tight end. Again, it's a home game. Ben's going to probably air it out a little more than he would otherwise. One of these guys should have value here. I get the logic of wanting to go to the cheaper Jesse James. Vance McDonald's had some big games too. It's sort of a dice roll picking between these guys. I think I would favor James for the discount, but watch it bite me in the ass when Vance McDonald has 5 catches for 150 yards. That's just how DFS goes, guys. The mediocre red zone defenses here would have me mostly off the kickers, especially Chris Boswell. Again, the Panthers giving up touchdowns on 80% of opponents' red zone drives. That is a crazy amount. And with guys like James Conner and Antonio Brown, who are fantastic in the red zone, plus the big tight ends, Jesse James is a 6'7" guy. He can easily get up there and catch a Ben pass. I think it's going to be hard for the Panthers to keep the Steelers out of the end zone. I would not want to play Chris Boswell. Graham Gano, though, is not a terrible play if the Panthers struggle at all. And, you know, the Steelers defense is stout enough where maybe they hold up in the red zone and Gano gets a couple kicks if Cam falters. So kickers here, no Boswell for me. Maybe a little bit of Gano, but not a kicker-heavy matchup, I think. They're kickers, though, so who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. And there we have it. Another showdown slate in the books. Make sure to check that promo code. This time I'm pointing the right way. Boom. It's right there. Use promo code TH Showdown to get 1 free week of Awesemo.com. All the ownership projections and rankings from Awesemo, the top DFS player in the world. A ton of content in the NFL and other sports. You know, we're doing every sport every single day with a lot of great brains. Some of the smartest guys in DFS out there. So use that promo code right now, TH Showdown. Check it out. Sign up, 1 free week. And I'll see you guys again soon with more Showdown breakdowns. Yeehaw.